Normally, a scale figure that is sitting pose, the box won't be big. But unfortunately, thanks to this one wall scroll, yeah, that will inflate the shipping cost because nowadays they use volumetric calculation for shipping, right? You're getting charged for the shipping cost of who knows 7 kg, for example. Hi and welcome back to the channel. It is a Sunday, so welcome to Figure Pre-Order News Day, 16th to 21st of October, about an equal number of genuine and third-party stuff for this week. As usual, we'll jump through a few websites. HLJ, Hobbylink Japan and OzGK are affiliate partners with this channel, and in between there is also Ami and Ninin Game for a few exclusive items. Firstly, we'll go through HLJ, and I have already selected the scale figures I want to cover on this channel, mostly female characters, but a few rare exceptions for the male side, right? Okay, the first two figures, I'm not sure if I can call these scale figures. They are non-scale and they are more like chibi figures, but the reason why I'm bringing up this couple of figures is I would like to listen to what you have to say about these two figures over here. Okay, so this is Gogura Excursion Easy Cut function with 3D modeling. Hololive production. Okay, this thing is quite tiny, 8,000 yen. And that is why I wanted to talk to you guys about this thing. Also, this one, Hosho Marine, same series by the same company called KC Japan. I've never heard of it. 8,000 yen as well. So if you get both of these two figures, 16,000 yen, which is the equivalent of a lower cost scale figure, right? Okay, are these props even all included? I think the props are included, right? Because it is there in every picture I'm scrolling through. So a small figure with all these props for 8,000 yen, what do you think? Is it acceptable? I mean, is it reasonable or is it overpriced? No, I'm not really sure how to judge this because I'm unfamiliar with chibi figures or super deformed figures. So I'm not sure what to think about this, but to me it feels expensive, right? Maybe because of the weak Japanese yen. So we see that big number, 8,000, 20,000, 30,000, it feels like it is a lot, but when you convert it to your own currency, it is actually not as bad. I think you're getting a set of accessories, so maybe 8,000 yen is a justifiable price tag. Yep. Okay, moving on to the next one over here, we have a dude from Heaven's Official's Blessing, Hua Cheng. Oh, this is a re-release by Good Smile, 25,700 yen or so. Okay. From what I'm aware, this figure, these male characters from Heaven's Officials, right? I actually went through the comment thread in the figure in myfigurecollection.net, and yeah, it is actually pretty popular. Everyone has their own preferences, understandably, but for a figure like this, right, male characters which I don't collect, I still can appreciate the amount of details in these figures. And I was expecting this to be made by Good Smile Arts Shanghai instead of Good Smile Company itself, but regardless, it is GSC Good Smile Company, so the figure is going to be well made. In fact, it sold well enough to justify a re-release, right? The next one over here, okay, this is one of the top 3 best genuine scale figures this week, together with an upcoming eStream Kurumi figure and also an Azur Lane figure by the same company, Any Gift. We'll get to that in a moment, right? Okay, so this 1x7 scale figure of Qu-Pavo from Punishing Grey Raven. Qu-Pavo is quite an interesting, quite a unique name for presumably a Chinese character, right? It sounds like a Chinese name, but at the same time it is not, and I am assuming it is Chinese simply because of the throne she is sitting on. That is very similar to something, the kings, the rulers in the past Chinese dynasties, that throne she is sitting on over there, that is very traditional Chinese, right? Okay, so with this figure, this thing is just jam-packed with details. So much things to look at when you display this figure on the shelf, right? They did not even cut corners on the back of the figure. See, even on the back, it looks incredible over here. I almost feel like I'm looking at something ancient. And that is a good thing because The paintwork and the detail does really give off the vibe over there, the ancient Chinese dynasty vibe over here. And any gift, they have really given us a lot of product photos over here. I wish that Japanese companies would do the same. See, there are so many close-up pictures for us to appreciate the details on this figure. Of course, at this price, you're getting wall scroll, right, at this dimension, 70 by 40 centimeters. The entire package, 24,000 yen. This is a great price, but remember, shipping cost is going to be really high. Normally, a scale figure that is sitting post, the box won't be big. But unfortunately, thanks to this one wall scroll, yeah, 70 centimeters, it is long, so your parcel will be kind of long, you know, and that will inflate the shipping cost because nowadays they use volumetric calculation for shipping, right? That thing is 2 kilos, but then because of the length alone, you're getting charged for the shipping cost of, who knows, 7 kg, for example. So that is one thing to bear in mind when you pre-order this figure. And that is also the reason why I'm actually not a fan of including something like this together with a figure purchase. Make it optional instead of forcing it onto everyone, right? For me personally, I wouldn't care about this wall scroll thing over here. I know some of you collect merchandise, but for me, I don't care about it as much, and I would love to be able to opt out so that I can save a bit on shipping cost. The next one here, we have an original character, Ichiya-chan swimsuit illustration by Bonnie, 20,500 yen non-scale by a figure company called 18. Okay, I don't know much about 18, but I've heard this name several times, and to me, they give off this impression where they might be related to Union Creative in some way. I have no proof of that, I'm just guessing over here, because, I mean, they do figures of original characters from artists, and then they make the figures pretty big, 1/6 scale. This is non-scale on paper, but the dimensions of this thing, 29 centimeters, this is a de facto 1/6 scale, even though they call it non-scale. And at this scale, 20,000 yen, slightly over than 20k. Yeah, reminds me of what Union Creative is doing with the original art figures, right? We are starting to see a bit more value with the genuine figure market. Not just the Chinese brands, but the Japanese brands, they are actually stepping it up in the sense that they give you these big figures, not necessarily very detailed, but the pricing is very reasonable. And I'm really happy to see this because, yeah, it is great for consumers. Competition is always a good thing, you know, competition to drive prices down. So this is not something I would buy, as much as I would love to help her wear that. But yeah, this is a good buy regardless of how the quality turns out. I doubt that it will be bad, you know. Like nowadays, it is almost impossible to find a bad figure if you exclude Force Japan and Griffin Enterprises and Beeful and so on. Well, Beeful, to be fair, they still make okay figures occasionally. But nowadays, it is really hard to come across a terrible figure brand because once you ruin a reputation in some way and the news will spread really fast, yeah, eventually people will stop buying your stuff, right? The next one here is also artwork-based figure, but this is pretty expensive for a figure by a Chinese brand. 1/6 scale Oka Kanjaki, illustrated by Yuichi Hiragi, 34,000 yen by Lovely, Chinese figure brand as well. So this is 35 centimeters, right? Or 31 centimeters. 35 is an art canvas, I see. So this is expensive because some kind of art canvas is being included with this figure. So I guess 34k is fair. Now this brand Lovely, they have been making a name quite for themselves. Last month, they released this figure which I don't even remember the name anymore. It is a bunny figure at 1/6 scale. Quite expensive, like 30 or 31,000 yen. One of my friends bought it, and there were a lot of user pictures being posted on this one figure in myfigurecollection.net. And boy, the figure looks incredible. Like, they nailed the figure. The face expression, the accuracy, the sculpting, everything was exactly like what we saw in the artwork. So Lovely is off to a very solid start. And people are liking their figures, right? So I doubt that many people will complain about the pricing of this figure. Not to mention, at 34k, not only you're getting an art canvas, you're getting extra parts, presumably because this thing is castable, but I don't see them like, you know, making you cast off the swimsuit piece by piece. You are getting a second torso for sure, a second figure, half a figure. So 34k, expensive on paper, but when you look at the entire package, this is still a value buy. And I actually like the character design on this quite a bit. The next figure, okay, regarding Nier Automata and 2B, right, Johan number 2 type B. Okay, this is an interesting character in the sense that it has been many years where third-party figure companies, they kept making resin figure one over another. There were countless options in the third-party market, regardless of whether you're looking for something really cheap third-party PVC figure for like $20 US, can find one at 1/7 scale also, all the way up to 4 digits in US for resins. There are so many options, but somehow in the genuine figure market, we are seeing very few options. Yeah, Square Enix has a history of releasing several figures of 2B, but not many, and I think Aniplex made one and put her on pre-order 2 months ago or so, but other than that, we don't see many options, which is kind of odd. I mean, third parties, they kept pushing out one over another, and then the genuine figure brands, they kind of don't care about this character from Nier Automata when obviously Nier Automata is extremely popular. So I'm not sure what they are thinking over there, over in Japan. Specifically, Square Enix, they own the rights to this character. Okay, so this one, also by Square Enix, is version 2.0. Yeah, I think they made a different figure of Yoha back then. As for the pose of this figure, well, I don't have a problem with the pose of this figure. 27,000 yen for something that is 1/6 scale. They call this non-scale, but height is 28.5 centimeters head height. If you include the sword, 31 centimeters. So 27k for 1/6 scale is reasonable. I wouldn't call it cheap. I wouldn't call it expensive either. But at the same time, if I were to compare this one by Square Enix, compare it to the one made by Aniplex, it was around 20,000 yen for the standard, 26,000 yen for the limited one, something like that. Aniplex one was slightly more expensive, but at the same time, the Aniplex version feels a bit more sophisticated. And personally, I prefer the Aniplex version a bit more if I had to choose, right? Yeah, the limited version. Because it has that small flying drone, that small flying robot over there next to her. As for Square Enix as a figure brand, their reputation isn't very good. Lots of complaints in the past regarding their quality control, so take this factor into account when you're hitting that pre-order button. Are you willing to take your chances, or you settle for the one by Aniplex? Aniplex is quite consistent nowadays. Yeah. Of course, you're getting a separate face part for this figure without the blindfold, the usual stuff, right? And you can display her without the skirt, because the main reason why we buy figures of 2B is to enjoy that crotch region and her backside. Let's face it, that is half of the reason why people buy figures of 2B, right? That is very important right there. The part without the skirt covering her crotch region. Alright, so let's move on to the next figure. 1/4 scale Throne Legacy Berserk Slan by Prime 1 Studio, premium resin figure brand. 160,000 Japanese yen. So is that like over $1,000 US also? So this character, right, not really my kind of thing, dark fantasy, really depends. I won't exclude anything at all, any genre. Like, I won't say I don't like this genre of anime or game or something. There are always exceptions, but this character is not my kind of thing, yeah. And I'm not sure if all those lines on her hair, I think they are intentional, because by right, even if a resin figure was 3D printed, those lines wouldn't be that obvious, so it has to be part of the character design. Of course, they're going to flex the amount of details they can pack into this figure, and I am especially impressed with her feet. There, this one right here. Look at the amount of details on the skin and on the soles of her feet. That is incredible, but you're paying for it, 160k. The next one here, okay. This should be part of the best 3 figures this week as well. I don't even know how to choose. That Punishing Grey Raven figure earlier was amazing. Now, but this 1x6 scale figure of Aigis Extreme OG mode from Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Okay, this is 30,000 yen. Expensive, yes, but I think it's worth it. 1x6 scale for one. The second thing is that this thing also, this is totally my kind of figure. Science fiction, yep. And you know the chest area, there is actually LED lights underneath it. I mean, yeah, that blue color region, you see, there is actually LED lights inside the figure. We go through the pictures over here. And there you go, this picture over here. I mean, you scroll side by side, you see, this is the light turned off. And this is the light turned on. And I like this so much. This is a very nice touch. I won't complain about the price at all. Of course, when you display this figure on your shelf, you won't turn on the LED 24/7, but it is still one thing to wonder, like, what if the light reaches its lifespan, end of life, or the battery is out? How do you change a new one, right? But regardless, I don't think that is an issue. Go and pick up this figure. This is incredible. Icrea. I don't know much about this brand. In fact, this is the first time I'm seeing this name Icrea, but I think that hardly matters. Go for it if you are a big fan of Persona 4. Up next, we have Theo Plato 1x8 scale. That is also a pretty odd name. Okay, from the Legend of Heroes series by Kotobukiya, just under 18,000 yen. For some reason, this character looks like something from FGO, Caster Class Servant, right? And the character design of this thing is also quite to my liking. Like, she is holding a weapon. I love Bishoujo characters with weapons. Doesn't matter whether it is a huge cannon or a sword or a spear, anything, and there is armor as well. I really like the character design of this thing. Not to mention, she is quite cheap, but unfortunately 1x8. I would like 1x7. To me, 1x7 is ideal. 1x6 gets a bit too big sometimes, right? Up next, we have 2 re-releases from Persona. Right? Yeah, this is from Persona. Persona 5 or what? I'm not too sure. I don't play the game. 1x8 scale art FXJ Hero Phantom Thief version by Kotobukiya, just under 14,000 yen. Given that Kotobukiya does not really put metal rods in the foot pegs of their figures, most of them, I do wonder how long will this figure hold up before it starts leaning, right? This would be a pretty lightweight figure from the looks of it, but still I'm concerned with the long-term durability of it, like whether it will lean. And the next one over here, also from the same series, we have Hiro and Morgana re-release 15,345 yen. Yeah. Okay, up next, we have a 1x8 scale figure of newly drawn illustration Ash Link's birthday version from Banana Fish. I actually watched this anime all the way to the end, despite this being something for girls. I mean, Bishonen, right? Pretty boys. So, 25,380 yen by Arma Bianca. Another new figure brand name to me. So, 1x8 scale, 25k is on the expensive side of things, even if you're getting a chair. That chair doesn't really cost much to manufacture, okay? So, this is pretty expensive actually. Okay, let's go through the pictures over here. To all the girls watching this, if any, your dream guy, right? I mean, handsome guy with giving you flowers. Why not? Oh, does he come with this white color block as well? I'm not sure. Yeah, this is pretty expensive, but yeah, 18 centimeters while seated. Of course, the reason why they're making this 1x8 instead of 1x7, I believe it is the same reason why Alter made their FGO figures male 1x8 and female 1x7. They are trying to hit these specific price points, I think. I'm not too sure. Or they want all their figures to be of the similar size. To me, I want my figures all to be in the same scale, if possible, right? Up next, okay, we have affordable scale figures by Infinity Studio. 1x7 scale SSR figure, Yi Ren Guan, House of Unhumans, and Qiao E. Okay, Ren Guan, House of Unhumans is the series title, and the two characters are Qiao E and Jin Hua, bunny version. 24,600 yen at 1x7, which means about 12,000 yen for each 1x7 scale figure. This is low cost scale figure territory already. And as for Infinity Studio and SSR figure, they are actually Prime 1 Studio. Prime 1 Studio has two branches by now. They have this premium PVC figure division. What was the name again? And then there is this Infinity Studio doing lowest cost scale figures, which is always welcome. I wanted to rant about another bunny figure again, right? But at least, number one, this is low cost. And number two, if you buy a set of two figures, they come with a mini diorama setup of some kind. Now, let's look for the pictures. I'll show it to you. I still think, there we go. You're getting a small coffee table over there with a wine bottle and a couple of wine glass. So you get this set up over here for 24,600 yen. I would say this is a value purchase. And you can buy the figures separately. I only prefer one. I don't want to get the other one. You can buy it separately for 12,300 yen each. But I think it does not really make much sense. Go for both so that you can set them up like this and display it in a mini diorama. It will look amazing in any display shelf, right? Okay, so if you buy it separately, there we go, 12,300 yen each. The next one here, we have a re-release of Megumin from Konosuba by Fat Company, only 16,400 yen. Okay, so I actually once considered buying this figure before when I saw her on Taobao because it was very affordable, but until today, I haven't picked up one. Priorities, right? If you missed out the first chance, to me, this is the best time to get this figure of Megumin. There has been so many Megumin figures. Yeah, the one by Shibuya Scramble figure was amazing. The one by Furyu or Phoenix was incredible as well. But if you can't afford that, to me, this is the next best option. For those of you on the budget, you can't afford the 30,000+ yen options by Shibuya Scramble figure and Furyu. Yeah, this is the one to go for despite her not wearing that usual red color outfit. Because, well, I think this figure, the way it is being designed is quite attractive, even though it does not really make much sense to wear bikini when you are out fighting monsters. But hey, anime logic, you don't question that. Next figure, we have a low-cost scale figure by Bear Panda. I actually brought up this figure. We discussed about these low-cost figures quite a bit. That video is right up here. Go and check it out. We are living in very interesting times as a figure collector. 1x6 scale Succubus Lalumu. Illustration by Tamano Kedama. Only 6,500 yen. Yep, why not? Go for it. Bear Panda, they also have 1x4 scales for between 10,000 to 12,000 yen or so. This one, the character design, I actually like it quite a bit, but at the same time, the color feels a bit too monotonous. Not that I can blame the figure company. They are just following the artwork the character is based on, right? I don't think this is castable at this price, but it doesn't matter. To me, that is just the bonus. Oh, there is something special included in the box. I can't read Japanese, making this even a better deal at 6,500 yen. So yeah, go for it. Pick up this figure. This is a really good buy. Next one over here, we have a 1x7 scale figure of Ines dress version by Mietos. At 1x7 scale, only 14,000 yen. So Mietos has been making this series of Arc Knight figures wearing the same black color dress, and they are really cheap. They are between 14,000 to 16,000 yen or so. I remember there's this pair of figures with a violin as well. I think it was one, Amiya was one of them, right? And then another one which was more expensive, but she comes with a piano. And now we have another edition over here. Mietos, they make great figures. They are already, to me, they are already top 3 best Chinese figure company out there. Yeah. So do not hesitate to hit that pre-order button if you like the character design on this. My only complaint with this series of black dress figures by Mietos is that, yeah, the colors are pretty monotonous, pretty dull. I mean, it's black all over. Women, yeah, hot and sexy women, when they wear this single piece black dress, they do look amazing. But in the form of figures like this, yeah, once you buy too many figures with the same outfit, it does get boring. Up next, we have 1/7 scale female boss Kuroshima Shio figure by Healing. Another new brand, never heard of. 14,700 yen. So this is technically another low cost figure. You're getting a cabinet there for no good reason. Well, I shouldn't be complaining about extra stuff at a low cost. Okay, for just under 15,000 yen, I'm not expecting too much from this figure, but like how they put it, this feels pretty generic, like generic office lady. So I'm not really sure what to feel. Maybe because this is not my kind of character design. It is all down to matter of taste, right? And who bears their boobs like that at the workplace, right? You would be called by HR for disciplinary action if you dress up like this at the workplace in a corporate office. Moving on to the next one, we have two color variants for this figure. Q6 is doing it again. Giant TD figures. 1/5 scale Oreno Koto Daisuki Nako Hai Ga Rikubu no Kochini Yara Teta Ken. Okay, sounds like NTR to me. I love NTR because, well, happy couples, their suffering is my happiness. I'm salty. Back to topic. Misato Onomiya whitening figure. Whitening. 1/5 scale, 20k. Well, Q6 has always been that kind of figure company which gives you value by offering you a really large figure at a low cost, though their figures are not very detailed because of the character design and also the outfit over here. Like, the sole purpose of buying figures like this is to remove their clothes, right? And this is the white version. There is also a tanned skin version. Pick your poison. To me, I've never been a fan of these weird proportions in anime figures, right? And that is all for figures on Hobby Link Japan at the time of recording. Some figures on Ami, like this one over here, I believe it is just a matter of time before HLJ list it in their website as well. This is not an exclusive or anything, and this is also one of the best 3 figures this week. Echocalypse, that is a very nice name, Echocalypse. Leviathan Shinayakana Yuri no Shitai version 1/7 scale from Azur Lane, 28,200 yen, coming out September next year, a year away, by Any Gift Chinese figure brand. So Any Gift, you guys have been making 1/6 scale, Azur Lane figures. Why is this 1/7? Yeah, to keep the price under 30,000 yen presumably, but this inconsistency can be a problem when you are displaying multiple figures from the same company side by side, and then yeah, there is that giant lolly, and then there is the MILF character which is smaller than the lolly. It just looks really weird to me. I would prefer if they stick to the same scale and just increase or decrease the price as needed, I think that makes more sense. I have never been a fan of characters with giant saggy boobs. I've said that so many times in the past. But despite that, you never rule out anything. You never say I don't like something and expect it to apply to every anime character. And this is one of those examples where I don't like body proportions like this, but somehow this figure appeals to me so much. It is so aesthetic that I would love to have one myself. Even though I hate giant TDs, right? So never say never, I suppose. I'm just quoting Justin Bieber over here. This is a good value. 1/7 scale, this giant base with the background and backdrop, and at 27,000 yen, Chinese brands doing their best over here. This is incredible indeed. The next one here, perhaps the best scale figure this week. Of course, the price reflects that, and also just a matter of time before she is available on HLJ as well. eStream and Shibuya Scramble figure, White Queen Royal Blue Sapphire Dress version 1/7 scale from Date Bullet. 46,200 yen, big ouch, but understandable. Initially, I thought this was Tokisaki Kurumi in a different color. Like, you know, you activate some godly power you have never used before and then your hair change color. It is kind of a thing in anime and games. Like Dragon Ball, Super Saiyan, you know. Okay, so I thought this was Kurumi in the first place because I haven't watched Date a Bullet yet. Right, I haven't watched the series yet. And at this price, just give us a Rolex watch behind there. Okay, I'm not collecting Dead Alive, Dead a Bullet stuff, but this figure, yes, I would love to have one. Simply because I'm a huge fan of details, bro. Details. The other figure of Tokisaki Kurumi by eStream as well, yeah, that one over there. I'm not a big fan of that one for some reason. I did not like that one as much. But this new figure over here, this looks so much better for some reason. Maybe because I love beautiful clocks and watches. Yeah. It is not like I have the money to buy a luxury watch, but I'm quite a fan of nice watches. Okay, and this one, yeah. Look at the details on the dress, the backdrop, yeah. I think the pictures speak a lot. And when you look at the photos of this figure, you can already understand the price, and I guess that is the point over here. This is just Shibuya Scramble figure flexing. And for those of you who collect Dead Alive, Dead a Bullet, yes, this is a must buy in my opinion. Moving on to the next figure, this one is also not on HLJ yet, just a matter of time. Hatsune Miku Birthday 2022 Polaris version 1/7 scale by Spiritel, 35,200 yen. So this is a birthday version. I thought this is a racing version, right? I feel like I'm looking at futuristic race queen outfits over here. It is just the name, right? What is so birthday about this figure? Also, this is a question for those of you guys who buy a lot of Miku figures. Don't you guys get tired of so many Miku figures every year? What is keeping you guys from buying these Miku figures year over year for the past decade or longer and never get tired of it? I mean, I buy a lot of Saber figures, Artoria from FGO, but to me, it is starting to feel a bit too much that I don't even buy every Ultra figure that has been made so far. I'm quite selective actually. So I'm actually curious on how do people keep buying these Miku figures endlessly, right? I would love to know your thought patterns on what is the justification behind buying the same character over and over. Up next, we have Rent a Girlfriend Ruka Sarashina Bunny version from Seoul International, just under 18,000 yen, coming out in April. Okay, this is one of those figures, those bunny figures which I can't really recommend because, yeah, putting aside the generic bunny argument, the complaints I've been making every week, how do I put it? Sarashina Ruka and Rent a Girlfriend, I think this is the kind of outfit we didn't see her wear in the anime. Is it in the manga? I'm not sure. I don't read manga. I am an anime only person. No time for it. So, I mean, Sarashina Ruka in a casual outfit, like a dress, really pretty dress for dating. Yeah, I can understand that. But in a bunny outfit for no good reason, like, I'm not too sure why, right? But bunny outfit allows Seoul International to keep the price of this figure low. I suppose that is part of it. Still, I can't really recommend this one. The next one, Soto no Sister, illustrated by Baby Sakana, 1/6 scale, by Space Manta, another new figure brand. And since Ami is calling this a provisional pre-order, this is 99% a Chinese figure brand. Okay, this item is a provisional pre-order as low production quantities set by the maker may prevent us from procuring enough quantities to fulfill all orders. At least you don't have to pay a deposit during pre-order, right? Okay, nowadays we are starting to see a lot of non-figures for some reason. Native, Frog, Rocket Boy, they're making quite a few of them, and then in the third party side we have more, and then now we have this figure by Space Manta. Do you like girls with glasses? Let me know down in the comments below. For me, once again, I would never say never, but normally, under most circumstances, I'm not a fan. And I'm saying this as a guy that wear glasses, so I suppose it is not a fair thing to say. But then again, every guy have their own taste when it comes to women, right? Okay, I'm not going to scroll too far. It will get quite not safe for work, I assume. And this is obviously, cast of above figure. 1/6 scale, 20k Chinese brand and their value offering as usual. So this is something you'll pre-order depending on whether you like the character design or not. Next one over here we have, okay, this is an Ami exclusive. You can't pre-order this anywhere else. Freeing Beastyle 1/4 scale, is it Juvia or Uvia? Uvia, right? Uvia Luxor, Bunny version, 1/4 scale, okay, 33,000 yen coming out next year in June. I don't think I've seen a figure of this character from any other figure company. Is there any figure of Uvia Luxor out there other than this 1/4 scale? I can't really recall. Maybe there is. Generic bunny figure, right? Yeah. I really like the paintwork on this figure. I mean, you look at the hair of this figure, the gradient paintwork on the hair, like very dark blue color edges, and then the center is brighter. And then all these color transitions, it is also present in her bunny outfits as well. I'm a big fan of paint job like this one. And I hope that more figure companies paint their figure this way. Like Kotobukiya, are you guys even listening? I would love to see shading like this in every figure I buy, in fact. And the last figure on Ami, this is also an Ami exclusive from Ruby Ice Kingdom with Ruby Rose 1/7 scale by Fats Company. This is a really pricey 33,000 yen coming out in September, a year away as well. Now, to me, I want to buy a figure of Ruby, from Ruby's series. Good Smile has this series of 1/6 scale figures. While the pose is not as dynamic as this one, those are quite legit options to consider. Are they even on pre-order? I don't think so, right? They were revealed in Wonder Festival quite a while ago. As for this one, reminds me of God Eater figures somehow. I mean, the color scheme of the character, the pose and everything. And of course, they need a plastic god to support that scarf over there. Like, they don't have a choice, right? Will the figure lean? Like, this is quite an extreme pose as well. She is leaping forward. The weight is shifted towards the front of the figure. So to see only one foot being plugged into the base, oh no, I don't think so. I think her right leg is being plugged into that effect part behind the figure. That is a bit better. More support. Are there any pictures of the back of the figure? Yeah, there we go. That right leg over there is plugged into that object behind her. So this is a bit better than I was thinking. Still, this is a solid buy if you don't mind the price point of 33,000 yen. I do like the pose, at least. And that is all for Ami. Now we jump over to niningame.com. Before that, as usual, there is this Nikan Shoujo very X-rated figures that I'm not putting on screen. That lolly over there, yeah, go and check it out yourself, right? I'm not discussing about the figure. Okay, the first one over here, okay, this one made it into my exceptions because it is somewhat safe to put the picture on screen at least. Nikan Shoujo original character Karina-san 1/4 scale by Insight, which is the 1/4 scale division of B-Full. And as usual, there is a warning on how the figures by this brand break very easily. Every B-Full and Insight figure listing has this warning over here on Ninin Game, right? Two options, 1/4 scale 27,000 yen, which is really cheap, and 1/6 scale at 18,000 yen. Yeah, if you insist on getting a figure by B-Full, Forge Japan or Insight, just go for 1/4 because it is quite affordable, right? Because the material, right, this company used to make their figures, because it is fragile, going for 1/4 is technically and theoretically safer because the material is thicker. You know, even the most fragile parts that are very thin, it is thicker simply because of the scale is bigger. So there is a lower risk of the figure breaking, right? I'm just going with logic over here. Now we take a look at the picture over here. Ahegao face, right? I love Ahegao face as well. So the face expression on this thing is nice. But whether the final figure will be this detailed, yeah, that remains a question mark. Beeful and Forge Japan, they are random. They have a few home runs, a few good figures, but most of them are average or worse than that. So that is one thing to bear in mind. Okay, now the next figure over here. Oh yes, Kaide to Suzu. Hoshizuki Kaide 1x5 skill, limited plus bonus, frog and native. Okay, $227. That's like 33,000 yen or so, I think. Ninin game is really random. Sometimes they display yen or other currency for no good reason, and then you can't even change it. Okay, anyways, I'm not scrolling to the next picture because it is very lewd. The figure is practically completely naked. I do have a figure of Kaede by the same company, Frog, at 1x7 skill. Yeah, this thing over here, which I'm not reviewing on my channel because the thing is so X-rated that it is impossible to put on screen without getting banned or, restricted by YouTube. So there is no point reviewing this figure on YouTube. I'm just enjoying it myself over here. Okay. 1x5 skill, this thing is huge and I want it. 1x5. Why not, right? So, Kaede to Suzu, there is a H anime adaptation. I think only 2 episodes so far. It is quite good actually. The art is really good. So this one, I can wholeheartedly recommend this one. And the last genuine figure for this week. Okay, this is by Beeful and Forge Japan. And I actually like this character quite a bit. The character design is nice. Himari, original character, 1x6 skill only, no 1x4, 18,000 yen. Releasing in February 24, which is really fast, right? Okay, so this one is quite photogenic. To me, I look at figures as if they are real human beings, right? And when I see a really nice dress, a nice pose, and a nice face expression, I start imagining things like how this figure would appear in a very specific scene. And to me, this figure screams of, like summer dress of some kind. Take this figure at the beach where she is enjoying a view or something like that. So to me, this figure is quite photogenic. Of course, I have my concerns with the figure. If the figure bins, like it becomes very cheap after release, I might try picking one up. I mean, there is a first time to everything. My first Beeful figure, there is a first to everything. So I'll keep a close watch on this figure, just because I want to photograph it. And even if the figure turns out to be a disaster, I suppose I get to make a very spicy YouTube video and share it with you guys. There is not that big of a loss over there, right? This thing is only 18,000 yen after all. Okay, and that is all for genuine figures on pre-order this week. Now we shall move on to third-party resin figures on OzGK. Right, so this is the website over here. As usual, I have selected the figures I want to cover. My focus is on female characters. And for every figures, well, not every figure, but for a large number of the figures I'm about to cover, especially the ones I expect to be popular, there is an affiliate pre-order link down in the descriptions below. Alright, the first one over here from HK Studio, we have Furina from Genshin Impact. This is a very simple looking, almost boring looking figure. Okay, the price here to be announced. This is not the actual price. Version A 400, and then we have version B, nude version of course, and then AB where you get both. Now, something this simple for 400 bucks, let me guess, 1x4 skill, right? Let's have a look. Okay, even the skill is not being mentioned here because this is a very early bird pre-order. But regardless of whether this is 200 on 400, I would say this is not a good buy. Go for something better. I mean, this is just Genshin character in a school uniform, no? School swimsuit uniform. So, I know there are not many figures of Furina yet, even among third parties, but be patient. Wait for better figures of her out there by other brands. The next one here, we have a 1x4 scale figure of Ishtar from FGO by RWN Studio, $556. This certainly isn't the first 1x4 of Ishtar. There were other resin brands in the past who did a 1x4 Ishtar. And because Ishtar is one of my favorite FGO characters out there, well, perhaps anything that looks like Tosaka Rin is one of my favorites, including Arashkigal. What else do we have? Space Ishtar, Astarte even, Because I like the character, I'm going to be a lot stricter with finding faults with a figure. Like, it needs to be really good, otherwise I won't be interested in, right? And the bad news here is that I am not liking this figure of Ishtar at all. You see, the first issue is there are way too many metal rods sticking out for no good reason other than, you know, to prop all those metal chains up. So we look at the right side over here. How many metal rods we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can see at least 4 rods from the right side. And the other side, we have at least another 3. And all these rods, what do? Just to prop up those metal chains. Like, does Ishtar even use chains as part of her weapon arsenal? No, right? So I really have no idea why they choose to go with this setup over here for Ishtar. And this is the worst part, the face. Right? Doesn't look like Ishtar at all. And I feel like I'm looking at the bootleg figure, which is the worst possible insult I can give to any figure, regardless of whether that thing is third party or genuine. I mean, if the face doesn't look like the character, that is finished, gone case, right? We call it gone case over here. So no, this thing, even for $300, I wouldn't pay for one, not to mention $556, right? I'm not liking this one at all, unfortunately. And I suppose this is actually good news for my wallet. I don't have to worry about buying another ultra expensive figure. Next, we have Qing Xue from Honkai Star Rail. This is by Arctic Wolf Studio. No price yet. This is not the real price. Version A, and then we have version B. Okay, version B, there is no pictures of this figure yet, right? Oh, I think we do have it here. Must be this one, version B. Right, the Mollywood version. Of course, I would say go for version A if you had to choose only one, right? And this is a very early pre-order. We don't have much pictures yet. I'm not really sure what is in front of her and surrounding her. Those are mahjong blocks, I think. Yeah, they look like mahjong blocks to me. The colors on this figure, they are quite pleasing to look at. I like the color scheme. But we need more pictures. At least this early picture over here looks quite promising to me. Up next, we have an early bird pre-order as well. They are showing us only a teaser pic. Not the face, right? Yeah, this is the only picture we're getting. My Girl Studio One Piece Swimwear Collection Windsmoke Reiju. Full price, this is not yet confirmed, but they are asking for $155, which is not surprising. One Piece characters tend to be very affordable among third-party resins for some reason, right? Maybe they are really experienced in making the figures, so they can manufacture them more effectively and efficiently. Who knows? So that is for 1x6 scale. There's a 1x4 option for $248, which is once again really cheap for a resin figure. Now we need more pictures, of course, before I can comment any further. Up next, another character from One Piece, Black Maria by Babyface Studio. The price, what? $79 US? 1x6 scale. That can't be the real price, right? The 1x6 scale figure which looks this great. Like, the face on this thing is really nicely made. $79. If this is true, this has to be like the bargain. Yeah, the bargain of the week, of the month, even of the year even. But they mentioned it there, TBD. So yeah, that is not the real price, I suppose. But yeah, the face on this one is quite nice. Up next, from Shure Studio, we have Braun Gabi from Attack on Titan. Okay, this one is going for $264 US at 1x6, right? Yep. The size is 28 centimeters, 1x6. Okay, so let's have a look at the pictures here. One thing I've noticed with most Attack on Titan figures, I think all, not just most, right? When third parties make them, it's like the colors are really dull, really washed out, and they look very undersaturated, the paint color. I think they're trying to replicate the aesthetic we see in anime, like, yeah, the color scheme overall, right? And it makes it hard for me to appreciate these figures because I am a big fan of vibrant colors, colorful colors. Well, not the children type of colorful colors, but you get my point over here. This looks a bit dull. I can understand why though. Up next, another Attack on Titan figure from Light Team Studio, Mikasa Ackerman. Okay, this one is just an early bird pre-order and no price yet. This is also, I'm suspecting this is also a 1x6. There is no point making something this like this, a generic outfit and then carrying firewood. There's no point making a character like this in 1x4 scale. Once again, really dull looking colors. Up next, okay, a Boa Hancock from Brainhole Studio, One Piece. $109 US. You see all these One Piece figures, they are really so cheap for some reason. We have a few pictures over here. Okay. I've seen so many this kind of One Piece figures that they feel generic by now, right? It's like everyone is making them every single week. And while the pose and the colors vary slightly, but in the end, it feels like all those Miku figures where there are way too many of them. This one also feels generic, like nothing special to see. Okay, up next, this is perhaps one of the better looking resin figures this week. FWS Studio and ZZD Studio IGN Owari from Azur Lane. Okay, they are asking for $382 US for this one, but price may change. And this is a 1x6 scale, which is pretty expensive for a 1x6. I mean, this resin figure appears to be really detailed. I like what I'm looking at, but $382 US, I'm not too sure. It feels like this shouldn't be more than 250 to 300 tops, right? Up next, from Bluefin's studio, we have Topaz and Nambi from Honkai Star Rail. There really is a lot of Honkai figures by now in the third parties, while there's nothing to be seen in the genuine site. Okay, this one does not have a price yet. Normal version and nude version, of course, and this is the only picture we have so far because this is a very early bird pre-order as well. My advice remains the same. Go for the one with clothes, not nude one, right? Like... If I'm getting options for both parts in the same figure, like a premium version, then maybe, but I don't see the reason why I should buy the nude only version, right? Okay, next one over here from Lingyun Studio with Rei Ayanami from Neon Genesis Evangelion. No price yet as well, and you get to choose between white and black. Okay, Rei Ayanami and Evangelion in general is another one of those characters where there are endless options in the third party as well. Not to mention, you also have competition from the genuine site, right? I feel like I'm looking at something from H anime. I mean, this kind of face expression, this is not the kind of expression I would expect Rei Ayanami to make. This is more of a similar complaint that I have with many RAM and RAM figures, like, that very bright smile over there is so out of character. Yeah, same thing over here. And from the looks of it, this is action figure, not exactly a skill figure. What is the skill not mentioned? Could be a 1x4 or bigger than that, 1x3, who knows? This looks terrible, seriously. This looks horrid. What is this? No, just stay away from this one, right? Up next, from Extreme Arts Studio, we have a licensed resin figure of Kotatsu Tamaki from Fire Force. Now, this $900 is not the final price. It is just the placeholder. And this is a very early bird pre-order. This is obviously a picture from Wonder Festival Shanghai. And if I were to use that person behind the figure as a rough estimate, yeah, maybe I'm looking at a 1x4 scale. I'm not too sure myself. $900 1x4 scale, I think it makes sense for a licensed product. If this is 1x6, then it would be outright overpriced. But I'm actually surprised by the fact that a third-party brand, well, not third-party, in general, I'm surprised that any figure brand would go all out and make a high-end premium scale figure of a character from Fire Force. Fire Force anime was great, but no, in the end, it was still a seasonal anime. And to see them go all out making a figure like this from a seasonal anime, maybe they know something that I don't, right? Up next, from Fan LV Studio, or is it Fan Love, I'm not sure. Violet Evergarden, which I call Saber on purpose. $199 US at 1x6 scale. Okay, that is a very fair price for this package over here. Okay, the colors are a bit on the dull side, but I think that suits this character quite well. There has been a few figures of Violet Evergarden already from third parties mostly. I have no idea what KyoAni is doing. KyoAni, right? Like, come on, license out this character to the genuine brands. Let them make a figure of her. She was really popular. Why not? Okay, CGI render again. I don't like this. Kafka from Honkai Star Rail by Ken Studio. Oh, Ken Studio. The one that made a really bad looking figure of Your Forger. The same studio. Now that is not off to a very good impression, isn't it? Okay, let's have a closer look. At least the face on this one doesn't look as bad as Your Forger. Too early to tell. This is just a CGI render. Now, I don't like it when figure brands use CGI renders to sell or take early pre-orders for their products, but this appears to be common practice. This is not the only studio doing it. Not very ethical, actually. Up next, okay. Well, that didn't take long, didn't it? Last week, Dodomo Studio pushed out the pre-order on a very nice looking figure of Cecilia, Dote, and then, or Dottie, pronounced as Dottie, right? Last week we have a really good one by Dodomo, and now we have a second figure of her just a week later. Of course, this is purely fan service. You can actually see her coochie over there, but Dodomo ones is so much better at the moment. This better be affordable, otherwise it has to be really big, like 1x4 scale. Dodomo is off to a great start compared to their competitors over here. Up next, from HM Studio with Asuma Toki from Blue Archive, there has been quite a number of figures of this character already as well. $190 US, basically another bunny figure, I know. At least to get to remove her clothes partially. 1x6 scale. Oh, there are quite a few pictures over here. Let's go through them. This could potentially go well with those good smile figures from Blue Archive, right? The bunny suit one as well, sitting. There was Asuna, and then there was this, what's her name again? Karin, yeah. Unfortunately, the scales are a mismatch though. This is a larger 1x6 scale. There you go, can remove her clothes completely. Okay, just go through. Okay, regarding the face of this figure, it looks fine, but at the same time, it feels like it could have been a bit better. Well, $190 for a 1x6 scale resin, fair price, feels standard to me. Up next, from Milk Studio, we have Yaemiko doing yoga, or yoga outfit from Genshin Impact. Now, this one actually looks quite nice, even though I'm not a fan of fan service versions when it comes to figures. There's a normal version going for $172, very reasonable. Nude version, $134, and then deluxe version you get both for $265, which in this case, buying a deluxe version might be worth it, because for $265 you get parts for both versions, right? Not a huge increase in price. The colors are a bit monotonous, like the whole thing is just pink color. I wish there are more colors, but the pose is really nice. Like, it looks really natural, and that is the main reason why I like this figure quite a bit, despite my complaints. And those are really nice legs, man. And there you go, the nude version. Okay. Up next, from Shiezui Studio, we have Nahida from Genshin Impact, or Leaf Lolly. Once again, we are supposed to pay a deposit while being shown a picture. Yeah, CGI picture. Okay, $79 for character, and character plus DLC, which means nude version, $95, right? Wait a minute. So nude version is only an increase of $15? Well, we don't know yet. Maybe it is a different base instead of a nude version, right? Okay. There are 4 pictures over here, but all of them are CGI renders. Yeah, CGI render. We don't know enough yet. Up next, from PP Jiang Studio, which means PP Sauce, by the way. Yaemiko Holiday from Genshin Impact. Okay, this one better be cheap because it looks terrible. Alright, there you go, $99 only. With DLC, $135, nude version, of course. The face of the figure, the head is quite decent, but I could barely see any details on this thing, right? I feel like I'm looking at a pop-up red figure, if I have to be honest, over here. There we go, nude version. Yeah, the details are pop-up red level, which I can't really recommend regardless of how cheap it is. Next, from ACY Studio, we have Cammy White from Street Fighter. 5th regular version, $515. So this better be 1x4. 5th deluxe version, $666. Oh, a different base, I see. Oh, no, it is not the base. I think it is a nude version. $100 plus of difference over here. And then we have 6th regular version and deluxe version. Oh, this looks like something. Oh, from the Street Fighter 6. I see. The costume in Street Fighter 6 for Cammy is just, I don't know, man. Are they trying to avoid controversy because the SJWs will flip table when they see too much sexualization of an anime or game character? But I really dislike the Street Fighter 6 character design for Cammy. Now, if you buy a Cammy figure, it needs to be her trademark bodysuit. This one over here. Okay. Up next, we have Murdoch from Arc Knights by What You Think Studio. What kind of name is that? Okay, $194 for 1x6 scale, 1x5 scale. Okay, that is a good price, but there's a reason why this figure is affordable, isn't it? Because I feel like I'm looking at, how do I put it? Yeah, not a very detailed figure. And the pose is also very simple. There has to be a reason. Anyone of you who knows something about women, do women actually stand and pee like that? I think it looks like peeing to me. Urinating. Okay? So this doesn't look great at all. You are buying this only for the size actually, right? Up next, from Bright Studio, we have Nico Robin from One Piece, Red Straw Hat's Resonance. $134. There you go, cheap One Piece figures again. This is a 1x6 scale, but the color scheme on this thing is really nice. This is a really attractive figure of Nico Robin. Lots of stuff going on for only $134, and she is part of this set, which looks amazing actually when you buy every single one of them and display it together. Alright. The next resin figure, we have Furina again from Genshin Impact, but this one looks so much better than that first figure I covered today. By Miin Studio, $229 for version A, version B 190 something loot, and version C presumably you're getting both for $379. Okay, yeah, this looks so much better. I care a lot about the face, and the face on this one looks quite well made, so this might be a good purchase for those of you who like Furina. I think it is only in the recent 2 or 3 weeks we are starting to see resin figures of this character from Genshin. Before this, everyone was just spamming Yae Miko. Okay, I'm not going to scroll too far. Go and check out the pictures yourself. I'm including the link in the description below. And last resin figure for today from Shinian Byron. Shinian Byron Studio, Naruto Tsunade. Okay, this one is going for only $109, which is really cheap when so much stuff are going on over here. 1x6 scale. To me, the base of this figure looks a bit too messy to my liking, but no, at $100, slightly over that, I suppose there is no need to complain anything as long they get the face of this figure right. This is a really good purchase. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff going on. Too much even. And that is all for figures on pre-order this week. Which one is your favorite figure? Which one will you be pre-ordering? Let me know down in the comments below. For me, that Dead Alive figure, 46,000 yen, that is a very strong poison for me. And then, but other than that, what else? I would say none of the figures this week attract me very strongly, like making me want to pre-order it really badly. But there are 2 or 3 skill figures on the genuine side which got me thinking, could be nice having one. Yeah, something like that. On the third parties, nothing interests me this week. That crappy-ish style figure there. So my wallet is safe for the week. What about you? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more weekly figure news as well as figure reviews. Until then, I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.